Hello and welcome back to Get Up and Game. My name is Josh. After a long time, it feels great to say that, and it feels even greater to say it's spoiler season again. And if you're anything like me, this Age of Apocalypse campaign expansion has got you hyped through the roof. The first two waves of mutants have been some of the best stuff we've seen in the game to this point, and everything they've revealed to us so far for the final run of the X trilogy doesn't look to be any less astonishing. Speaking of revealing, once again I have the great privilege of being able to reveal to you a new card from the upcoming campaign expansion, releasing in just over a month. Now, a little behind the scenes for you, when we're approached to reveal a card to the fanbase, we aren't given a choice or selection in the matter. We just get what they give us. So when I was asked if I'd like to participate in the spoiler campaign, I didn't know what I was going to be getting. But of course you hope it's going to be something really cool. Well, someone over at FFG must know that today is my birthday, because not only do I get to reveal one of Magic's cards, who is the upcoming hero I'm most excited to play, but it also happens to be a control-oriented card, which fits my playstyle perfectly, and even contains my very favorite words in the whole game, confuse the villain. Exorcism is a 2-cost thwart event that also happens to be a spell, and it reads, remove 4 threat from a scheme. If the top card of your deck has a mental or wild resource icon, confuse the villain. Now on its own as a card, it's really quite solid. 4 threat removed for 2 cost is perfectly acceptable, and the chance to confuse the villain is always welcome. But of course it's in conjunction with Magic's other abilities where this card really comes to life. In case it's been a while since you looked at the original preview of Magic, let me remind you of her amazing alter ego interrupt. When you change to hero form, choose a spell in your discard pile and put it on top of your deck. So you can play Exorcism on your turn to confuse the villain and remove a big chunk of threat and flip down to alter ego safely. Then next turn you can make use of all your mutant supports, because let's not forget Magic is an X-Man as well as a Mystic. And then when you flip back to hero form, if you want to, you can put Exorcism right back on top, meaning you could just turn around and confuse the villain again. Now, I have been speaking of the confuse part of the card as if it were a foregone conclusion, but it's not. It is conditional based on the top card of your deck, which of course Magic can see when she's in her hero form. So you can play it right off the top of your deck for 1 less resource with her hero power and hope that the next top card has the right resources to trigger the confuse. So it's not a guarantee. But that's where Limbo comes into play. Limbo is a 1-cost support that allows you to swap the top card of your deck into your hand. So all you have to do is swap Exorcism into your hand and put a card with a mental or wild resource back on top of the deck, and you're back in the confuse business. You could also use a stepping disc to get it right back out of the discard pile and put it on top of your deck as well. So depending on how many mental and wild resources you include in your deck, a confuse lock is going to be very easy to come by. Though, to be fair, it's not like it's so easy that this is just the guaranteed strategy for Magic, as it comes with a pretty hefty opportunity cost. There are going to be a lot of different spells in your discard pile vying for that alter ego interrupt. Not only as a card to potentially be played, but maybe just as a card with the right resource on it to power up one of Magic's stat boosting upgrades. One thing of note that does keep the power level of this card in check is Exorcism has the energy resource on it, meaning it powers up Magic's mystical armor upgrade, boosting her defense by 1, which isn't likely to be very useful on her hero turn most of the time. If it powered up her soul sword, then it would be a little more of a power play. But it's not like Mystics need the help, right? And it's that push and pull that makes Magic so fascinating. We already knew that her upgrades depending on having a certain resource type on top of her deck to get the most out of them, but now we know this is how her events work as well. Because let's be honest, if this is how her thwart event works, I think we can safely assume it's how her other events work too. So it's going to be even more important to have ways of shifting cards, discarding cards, and drawing cards from her deck in the hopes of positioning the right resource on the top to get the desired effect. So there we go. A deeper look at how Magic is going to play, and hopefully a little more hype as we get ever closer to the Age of Apocalypse. Huge thanks again to Fantasy Flight for making my birthday even more special and allowing me to share this with you. Now for me, it's back to the tiny room that my small children keep me locked away in as I tend to their every many needs. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you next time we get up in game, whenever that may be. Take care, folks. Bye-bye.